that actually went mad. Suspended.
I think it's like.
Are we live? Of course we're live. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for joining me each and every time. First things first, it's Friday. Hope everyone's had a good week, had a great week, moved that much closer to their goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations, or overcome whatever obstacles are in their life and in their way. Hope you've all had a good week. You know, fundamentally, you can't do anything without your health. So I hope you're all in good spirits. I extend that to your loved ones and nearest and dearest as well. Hope you're all enjoying Friday, at least where DG content is concerned. Please make sure you're following and subscribing on Twitch. Do the same thing on YouTube. As you know, I'm sure you know. Big up you lot that were obviously thingy in the comments nice and early. You see me post a vid. After this, we're heading over to YouTube at 11:30. We'll preview Arsenal versus Watford. Couple bits and bobs to talk about. Guendouzi's been linked with Newcastle. Please don't ask me about that. I don't want to repeat myself at 11:30. 4 p.m. I'm gonna be back on Twitch because we're we're playing Football Manager, and obviously it's now weekend. So again on YouTube, I'm gonna the bulk of my watch-alongs are gonna be on YouTube this weekend. I'm gonna have Man United, Man City, West Ham, Liverpool, and of course Arsenal versus Watford. That's all gonna be on YouTube between Saturday and Sunday. So make sure again, YouTube, Twitch, you're hitting your reminders, you're setting your alerts. Big up to everybody that has hit their reminders and does check out the schedules. I'd love for you lot to do it now. Welcome back to another edition of Friday's edition of the Deluded podcast, the DG podcast, the Really and Truly podcast. As I said, big up the Twitch gang, large up you lot. Appreciate anyone watching it on the replay on YouTube. And again, level with Twitch, my favorite people have to be Spotify and Apple Music viewers, because you lot, you know that it takes some dedication. Now, yeah, man, today obviously we'll touch on what happened in Europe yesterday indirectly here and there. We'll touch on the England squad. Eddie Howe seems to be moving that much closer to becoming Newcastle boss and all of those sort of things there, man. What do you think? What do you think about the Tottenham game yesterday, Conte's first game? I watched the highlights in it. You know, I watched the Leicester in real time. I watched Leicester versus Spartak Moscow. You know, obviously they came from behind. Vardy missed a penalty. I was browsing and looking at the Celtic game. Decent goal by Jota. From what I saw in the Spurs game, I would say it looked a bit manic. You know, I don't know what was in the water between Europa League and Conference League, but it seemed like nobody wanted to complete a match with 10 men. So I was mad sending offs. The goals were quite crazy. And I mean, it just goes to show Conte is not as great as Conte is, and he will do well for Spurs, in my opinion. It's not a quick fix, as you know. Like, there's a lot wrong with that team. The red cards, the errors leading to goals. You know, and again, if you're doing that against Vitesse, you're gonna have to want to do a lot better. So it is what it is where that's concerned, really, really and truly. What should we say? Let's say about 14. Let's say Conte's first game / European action. I think, you know, and even Conte himself said it. I'm not going to go and read it, but he said things like, anyone who knows me knows I don't really like the games like this. So again, he likes his teams to be on the front foot a bit more, to dominate a bit more, and to be less end-to-end and exciting. You know, a 3-2 victory with some red cards is exciting for the fans. It's not so exciting for the manager. And, you know, Conte's got a lovely set of hair, you know, probably got the longest hair out of all the managers in the Prem now. I'd have to sit down and think about that one, you know. Farker might have something to say, but if Spurs keep moving the way they're moving, then yeah, he's going to lose that whole set of hair, man. Remember when Lacazette touched Arsenal, he had the cleanest hairline and fade. Come Arsenal, man's bold now. Stresses in North London. There's something else, but it's always nice to win in your first ever game. So it's one of them ones. On that, let me see if my Spurs brethren's... Yo.
Hello.
Yeah, you saying, Geez?
Good man.
Hey, mate, sweet. You know you're a Tottenham cunt. But anyways, yeah, quick thing, yeah. Hey, wait, 1 sec. I'm still here. Something dropped. Hey, D, what you saying? Yo. Yeah, Conte's obviously, see people, large up my guy. He's doing this in the working hours as well. You know, we do this for the 9 to 5ers. But yeah, man, someone asked me about Conte on my live stream right now, man, and I offered my opinions. You know, I asked you yesterday. What going for him yesterday? Is your first game? You know, what happened in the game? I only see the highlights, man.
You're capping, man. You know you watch your food.
I actually did watch it. I actually did watch it. I watched Leicester Moscow. I ain't watching no Conference League. The hell? I watch it. You think I care about Conte's first game? Rugby.
It was stressful, man. It was going smoothly at first. We was just all over them for the first 20 minutes, like putting the pressure on, attacking football, free flowing, and then the first one was a corner. I think, yeah, it was a corner.
What, that you conceded?
Yeah. The first one goal we could see, it was a corner, and I think like they was playing alright, to be honest. They're a good team. I wouldn't say Vitesse are not a bad team. They're a decent, solid side. They had confidence. They were trying to push forward as well. They wasn't really scared about us, even though it was 3-0 up quite quickly. They were still playing football. So, I give them credit for the way they was playing.
So how did it go from 3-2 to 3-0 to 3-2 and all this?
Because we had a corner, and it's the same thing on the Nuno. There's no one marking out a corner. Everyone's standing still. Dyer lost his man. The guy that had a free header in the box, Dyer was nowhere to be seen, lost his man. So it's 3-1 now. And then within 5 minutes, I think it was like Lucas Moura, he was just messing about in his final third, literally passed the ball to one of their wingers, and he took it into the box, squared it, and it's finished, easy finish for Vitesse 2-1. Lloris couldn't get a hand of it.
Raw.
Great finish, to be honest. Calm, just put it in the corner. It's 3-2. Within 5 minutes, they're back in the game. We just allowed it, just a slip of concentration. Just thought the game was going too easy. But I think Conte needs to get that out of them. They need to switch on, be focused for the full 90, because they just get complacent when they're winning 3-0. Like, they don't know how to kill teams, go for it. Like, you need to get to the point where it's like 6-7-0 and you keep
smell blood in that.
Yeah, play that buy-in. Like, there's no fear. Just go for teams. That's what our problem is. You get complacent and get, we're playing well, we're right, going to win the game, and then you just stop doing what you need to do.
I hear that, man. It makes sense because I mean that it seems like it's still obviously he's not going to fix anything in a matter of hours, but it seems like there's still the same problems: complacency, not playing well for 90 minutes, cheap mistakes, set pieces, and probably defensive errors. Was there a change in midfield? Like, obviously there's a new managerial bounce. Was there a different sort of swagger? Cause I see you got a good reception.
Yeah, it was definitely a different sort of swagger. You saw that even though the midfield, they had to do their job, but they was trying to get the ball forward a lot more. They were playing passes quicker. They wasn't trying to just do the sideways pass. They was doing that as well, but they was looking to go forward, like overlapping wingers. Emerson Royal had so much. He had the ability to just go forward. I think the freedom. He wasn't restricted in defending. I think under Nuno, him and Reguilon was very set. Had to stay back, but
very flat.
I don't know about Reguilon. Reguilon didn't really have a good game to me. He didn't really get involved as much as he could have. Emerson was great, to be honest, but maybe his role was to stay back in case there was a fall and drop back, I think, to get that defensive shape. But yeah, Emerson played well, I thought.
So what about the attacking players? Kane, Son, Moura. I know Moura grabbed the goal.
Had freedom. It was great for them. It was great. The movement was fantastic. They just had freedom, could run anywhere they wanted, make whatever runs you needed to do. It was good to see, to be honest. It was proper attacking football from Spurs. Like you got good players. That's why under Nuno you was just frustrated because like the players just wasn't playing. They wasn't trying to press forward, wasn't trying to look for the through ball, trying to get the ball in behind defenders. And that's what we was doing yesterday for the first half an hour anyway. Second half we did it in spells, but yeah, that's when we had to.
What was it? 3-5-2 or something else?
3-5-2, yeah, 3-5-2. Two holding midfielders and 3 forwards. Second half, he changed it though, but we went down to 10 men because of Romero. Yeah,
what happened to him? You was telling me he's 30, but he ain't got nothing on Gabriel, some counterfeit duns.
No. Romero's solid, man. He's solid, but he has that mistake in him. Not mistake, but he plays a bit like I would play. Just take out the man. We need to take out the man, but it's not always best for the team, though. It's not always best for the team. That's the problem. He didn't realise that you couldn't let him run a bit, and then maybe Dyer or someone else will cover you, or let it happen. But I think he is a good defender. He just needs to get that experience. He's still young, 23, so he's got a lot to learn as well.
Fake Ben White, boy. He's nothing like Ben White and Thingy, boy. All right, last question before I let you get out of it. Obviously, So, yeah, that was Conte's first game. But, I mean, with respect to Vitesse, his first proper games against Everton away. How are you feeling with that?
I'm confident, man. I don't really...
Please, Everton, pattern these guys. Please. Townsend.
Smoke Everton, man. Everton away was... Nah. I don't know, man. I have faith in Spurs at the moment. We should. The way we press forward, he's got a few more training sessions under his belt to coach the players right. Hopefully, he picks a different squad. I want to see Ndombele play, to be honest.
He didn't play?
No, I didn't play.
I told you, them man there's future's done, bro. Them man there, they're not running under Conte.
He came on and played. He came on and played well. Winks played well as well when he came on.
Right, you still talking about that Winks thing, bro? Man, still chatting about Winks. And after a lot of months there, bro. Did the other you? What's it, Bando K? Oh, fucking Dane Scarlett. Did he play?
Nah, man, I'm so happy with nowhere to be seen. To be honest,
People think I'm lying. What do you make of Dane Scarlett?
I don't want to see him until the FA Cup rounds, man. He had too much time. They've exposed him too much. Like, you want to be seeing like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. You don't want to give guys full 90, not getting a shot on goal, not getting nothing. But I think it's just bad for him. Like, yeah, we were playing bad on the Nuno, but he shouldn't have been playing. He shouldn't have had all this responsibility as a 17-year-old to play for Spurs. Main man striker in these cup games. It's just not right.
Where's Delhi?
Not right at all.
He never kicked ball yesterday.
I think he did come on, you know. I think he did come on. Actually, I'm actually not aware.
Delhi's in the mud, fam.
Yeah, it's a sad life for him, man. I can't lie. But, oh well.
All right.
He's not doing the stats, so.
It's true. All right, real last question. Yeah, what did you make of the England squad?
Well, I didn't quite get. I didn't see. I know, like everyone's saying about Smith Rowe, but Smith Rowe should not be in a team, man.
Right, listen, wait, you lot, who is you lot youngsters, bro? You need to stop. Don't talk about youngsters. Smith Rowe should be there, bro.
No, he's not better than anyone. Like,
yeah, mate, it's about performing, fam. Him and Greenwood should be there. More so Greenwood. I can't lie, I'm capping a bit with Smith Rowe. Wait, who have you man got? Bro? Listen.
It's not about who we got.
Yeah. Listen, you know it's Smith Rowe. There's no, I don't need logic. He just needs to be in the team, fam. Like, I got agendas to run, man. Like, if I look at the squad, what he's been better form than what Mings is there. So you could have gone without one less centre back.
No, Mings shouldn't be there. I don't know why. Mings must be there for the black quota or something. I don't know why Mings is there, man.
I don't know if I'd say that on my thing. Is that? It's that left-footed tax.
He's not a baller.
Oh man, hey, say that about my guy, man. Let me let you work. And that's my guy, man. That's my guy. As you can see, that's that in relation to Spurs and whatnot, and Conte and all these things. So you heard it from a Spurs fan's mouth. So I didn't watch Spurs. I see the highlights. It looked like quite a mad game. The goals, the tempo of the game looked good. Again, I'm not sure if Spurs fans would enjoy it. Obviously, the team won. I'm definitely sure. Well, Conte said it, as my man said here, bro. When there's a possibility to kill, you must kill. And it's true. And I don't know if that's the same as Oli, but yeah, man, you know, one thing that you get about Conte is he's cerebral. There's no romance around it. Football's beautiful, and you know Conte is on that sort of stuff, but he cares about just slaughtering your opponent, getting away. He doesn't like the heart rate thing, and Spurs seem to do that even when they've won games. You look at Newcastle, couple of games this season. To say a couple is nice. Let's start with the Europa League action, people. Now, again, I didn't watch all these games. I barely watched a lot of these highlights, people. But you know, West Ham are through. Obviously, they drew 2-2 with Gent. Sociedad and SK drew 1-1. Galatasaray and Lokomotiv Moscow also drew 1-1. Brøndby and Rangers drew 1-1. Lyon against Sparta Prague ended 3-0 in Lyon's favour. Legia Warsaw were defeated 4-1 by Napoli. Frankfurt 2, Olympiacos 1. Monaco and PSV. I can't lie, I got the highlights recorded. I ain't watching that. 0-0, tired. As you know, Leicester City came back from behind to draw 1-1 against Spartak Moscow. Jamie Vardy missed a penalty, and unlike Jamie Vardy, he took it too quickly. It was too rushed. It was quite terrible, really. Braga 4, Ludogorets 2, Leverkusen 4, Betis 0. And again, I saw the highlights, and a lot of people when I was streaming yesterday, Fekir scored, by the way. So people said Bellerin had a mare. Bellerin got chopped, razzled, dazzled, sizzled, jerked, boiled, fried, everything. I've put in the oven. Everything happened to Bellerin out there. So it's, you know, it's never nice to hear anyone had a bad game, but it's nice to know that Bellerin having a bad game don't affect Arsenal really and truly. Antwerp were defeated 3-0 against Fenerbahce. No Mesut Ozil, swear down. Mesut Ozil's not even in the squad. He's doing them things there. Celtic scored a couple of good finishes, if I'm real with you. You know, they won 3-2 against Ferencvaros. Dynamo Zagreb won 3-1 against Rapid Vienna. Midtjylland won 1-0, and it was 2-2 where Marseille and Betis were concerned, people. Obviously, you all saw Payet scored a late equalizer, and obviously Milik scored a penalty and put them ahead. But if you remember correctly, Felipe Anderson in halftime, in added on minutes, and then almost straight after the second half, Immobile scored. Now, I'll do a loan when I do my loan report. I'll focus on it, but I did think Saliba has to do better for 2 of those goals. The second one, I think he's done a bit dirty, but it's nonchalant, really and truly, from someone who is a good defender. So yeah, and I'm a bit annoyed, man. Big up the Twitch gang, you know. Again, Marseille versus Lazio. The return fixture is 2-2. Do you remember when we did a watch along for the game at Lazio's place? That was dead in terms of not because of you lot or me, but the standard of football. So that's where the Europa League is concerned. Obviously, somehow Spurs have managed to play in a competition lesser than this, and we're not in it. But again, to people that said, well, you're not in Europe, would you rather go to a rubbish party or no party at all? Because Conference League sounds like a party. There's no gal there. You know, it's all a sang. It's sounding rubbish, really and truly. Conference League, it's sounding absolutely tired. But man, see, I'm not even putting in Conference League. I'm calling it Conference Cup and getting vexed at Google for not finding it, man. Dark Star said, "Did you see Spurs yesterday?" We just spoke about that, broski, and appreciate you for asking me how I felt. I'm feeling good, man. I'm blessed to have a support network with you lot. I appreciate you lot supporting Twitch, YouTube, and the rest of it, man. So yeah, big up to you lot. Where the Conference League is concerned, though, people. Again, forgive me for mispronunciations. Kat Yarabag 2-1 against Karat. Flora and Ophenosis drew 2-2. Raiders and Jobanek drew 2-2. Armonia and Basel 1-1. Gent and Partizan 1-1. Zora 2, CSK Sofia 0. LSK 2, Aleskert 0. Lincoln Red Ilks 1. Slavia Borislava 4-4. So 4-1 against Lincoln Reds. Tel Aviv won 3-0 against HJK. AZ Alkmaar won 2-0. Pakau lost 2-1 to Copenhagen. Rennes won 1-0. Slavia Prague also won a goal to nil. Union Berlin had a man sent off as they lost 2-1 to Feyenoord. And obviously, that's a selfish point of view. You want to see Reece Nelson grab some minutes and all of those sort of things. Unused substitution. However, yesterday, I'm sure you all saw Jose Mourinho very critical of the manager. Ref. Roma made sure they came from behind against Bodo to draw 2-2. And I can't lie, the first goal that Bodo scored with the left-footed finish straight away. So pass comes in. Man just tucks in Roma's keeper with his left peg. It was ridiculous. Spurs 3, Betis 2. So yeah, that's that where obviously we spoke about the Champions League yesterday, but where the lesser competitions in Europe are concerned, that's where these things there are, people. What are you lot saying in the comments? Big up everybody locked in. We'll get into the Premier League in a second, man. Who? Trust. No party at all. Save the peas. No hangover. No calories. It's one of them ones, really, isn't it? Trust. No party. What are you lot saying, man? DG got the FM bug now. I remember when you were streaming FM21 once a week when your Arsenal team were getting spun. Look at this guy. Obviously, it's infectious to play now, but on a serious note, it's the positive feedback. I like playing it. And obviously, you gotta, I'm trying to have the same mentality I had with YouTube. It's like, oh, you just gotta make bare vids and make noise, innit? It's like someone makes so much noise, people can't ignore you. They either say I'm being spammed or whatever. So I thought, let me just go 10 times harder, innit? You get out what you put in. But yeah, man, it's always better to play when you're winning 100%. I can't lie, it's always better to win, bro. And there were some dark times when we was getting spun at Arsenal in FM21. Madness was going down. This is why you need to give a manager time, man. You see, I learned from the mistakes, came back harder and whatnot. It's one of them ones, man. It's one of them ones. What agendas are we running for the international call-ups? Eddie Howe, England international duty. We'll get onto that in a second, but let's just get through the boring stuff. Reviewing the Premier League, previewing the Premier League, apologies, and all them things. As usual, man. One love to you lot. Keep the engagement levels running. Shout to you lot watching the ads to support the channel as well. One love to everybody listening to this on not just Twitch, but YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and the rest of those things, man. Is what it is. Wish I had more time to catch FM yesterday. Do you know what? I actually went and played late last night. Shout out to everyone who caught that surprise stream. I just wanted to play on a quick thing. The good thing about Twitch is, at least for a couple of days, the content lives. It'd be nice if Twitch content just lived forever, allowing you to have a catalog or your channel to have a catalog like YouTube, but you can't have it all in it. Big up yourself, Ak, as well, man. So yeah, let's preview the Premier League action to come, people. Because obviously there's a couple mad games, you know, and again, you don't want to lose this week purely because you're going into the international break. And as an arse, we're going to focus on this at 11:30. Make sure you're all here. Let me drop the link in. Well, it's on YouTube, but let me make sure I drop the link. As usual, people, the dislikers are there. The dislike bots, 21 dislikes on that video already. You know, defo bots hating on my channel. You know, I do think it's infecting the engagement as well. You know, 2 likes to 21. It's absolute mazza, but we always win. But getting on with the Premier League, people, you don't want to be the team to lose. Hit the like button if you're listening to this on YouTube as well, and comment. These things help with the engagement, but you don't want to lose. You know, it's always long to lose when there's an international break, if you're honest with yourself. And as an Arsenal fan, hopefully we can beat Watford. You know, a lot of our players, you know, I think Gabriel should have been called up to Brazil, or should be called up to Brazil. I don't think he has, similar to Vinicius. You know, Vinicius. I look at Arsenal, you know, and big up Ramsdale and Saka for being in the England squad. There is going to be a time when really Saka isn't going to get called up, because I wouldn't say listen, I'm happy Saka's there, but if we keep it true, his form ain't been amazing. There's going to be a time where Southgate, you know, Southgate's a bit of a twat. I feel if people did deserve, I do think Saka deserves it again. And one love to Ramsdale. I do think we're wishing on a star, assuming Smith Rowe is going to get the call up and things like that. It's not quite time, and he has to dislodge a lot of players. Personally, I know we'll get on it. Southgate spoke about the whole Greenwood palaver. I don't understand how Mings is there. You know, Mings, whether you give another opportunity to another centre half, or you say one less defender and then bring an ex-midfielder or winger, I don't get it personally. And even Tammy's form ain't been that good, you know. Again, Tammy deserves to be there because there ain't many options. It just feels like Southgate keeps picking people that are close to the camp. But why I say that, and we're going to get on to England in a sec, I said that purely because for me, if we can beat Watford, then we have a week's long, you know, rest to train and prepare for Watford. I mean, prepare for Liverpool, because Liverpool players are going to be everywhere. We're not. Ben White's not going nowhere. Shout Ramsdale and Saka. Ben White's not going nowhere. Gabriel's not going anywhere. You know, Tierney's injured. You know, Scotland's going to call him up. I don't know Japan's schedule, but I'd imagine Tomiyasu is going everywhere, is going somewhere. But you get the point, you know, you have a week to prepare, and it's always easier when you've won. It's, you know, I would love to keep it 10 unbeaten, go into the weekend, come out of the weekend on Sunday winning. And for me as an Arsenal fan, I know there's people that play after us in that West Ham and Liverpool are in their own world looking for the league. West Ham are in this sort of mini league with at this moment in time with us. Now with Conte, Spurs, United dragged themselves in it. Leicester's in it, in that there's about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 teams fighting potentially to bag that 4th spot. That United have made an open race, and obviously the 2 spots below the minimum, can you bag it into Europa League? Can't Arteta tell Southgate don't take Saka? He can, but you know, I don't think Southgate wants to Arteta wants to do that, or wants to deny his players the chance, really and truly. And to be fair, yeah, man, Saka, go off and do your thing, man. But where the Premier League is concerned, folks, you've got Southampton against Villa. I've got a Dean Smith comment up here. We'll get into that. But Southampton against Villa, that's a must win. The game of the weekend is clearly Manchester United against Manchester City, 12:30 kickoff. I'm going to be live I'll probably be live from 12 p.m. tomorrow on YouTube. That's going to be a big one. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, again, you know, he survived the El Sacico with a big win against Spurs. But again, his job is always going to be on a knife edge. All he can do is go on a little run of form. It quietens down a bit, and then it is what it is. As you know, he went into unknown territory. Now, at the end of the day, he's beaten Spurs. He did not lose to Atalanta. And, you know, the Manchester derby, if you win, that could be credit in your bank. And there has been a time where Ole's put in performances like that. You know, City have been struggling. You know, obviously, they beat Leipzig, but the 2 prior games in the cup and the league, it weren't results. So I'm sure they want to hit back. And obviously, you've heard Pep saying this is the most important fixture in a while. He's talking up the derby now. Going into the game, of course, if you had to bet money, you can't look past City for this, you know. And it could, you know, I don't think City are quite playing to their potential to the way Liverpool are playing to theirs, but it could be a similar result if United mess around. Why I don't think that will be the case is because he's clearly going to go 3 at the back. Clearly, the context is around the game. And again, I do think form kind of goes out the window. Of course, when you look at couple of individuals can get in the City team from United and say things, but the whole squad on squad, man to a man, the majority of the City players are better. They're in better health. They've got a better manager. They have a system. United are individuals. City have a midfield. United don't. Again, there's many things, as much as it's a game for passion, and this is probably where Ollie's team talks probably make sense in games like this, really. It's gonna be a tricky one. And it's at Old Trafford. I know Old Trafford isn't quite the fortress it used to be, but you need to do a thing. And obviously, if you're City or United, you're looking at that as we need to. Obviously, let's be the table's going to fluctuate. There's a lot of games to play. It's not the end of the world if you don't win. So I'm sure both teams would take a point more so United, than City. But at the same time, I'm sure both teams would want to win, because if you're City again. Brighton made Liverpool drop points last week. Again, goal difference probably, I don't know what goal difference is saying. I think Mo Salah's probably meant Liverpool would stay on top, but let's just assume City won. City are on 20 points. Liverpool on 22. If you win, you go 2 points behind Chelsea, and you obviously temporarily go ahead of Liverpool according to what happens in their result. They've got West Ham, where again that could go either way. Again, Liverpool, I'm sure Klopp's going to be vexed. Arsenal can't talk to Liverpool, but again, if you're Klopp, you've got two informed sides. So you're going to need to put in a shift, really and truly. So if you're United as well, United are 17th. If United do their job, they move back into fourth. Things can happen. The table's going to fluctuate. There's nothing in it. The top. You can't even say West Ham are not in a title race mathematically. Now we know West Ham don't have a chance of winning the league. Respectfully, West Ham. So it's a Chelsea, Liverpool, City thing in their own world. West Ham are level with City realistically, but I would say top three in their own world. As I keep saying, fourth all the way to 14th, where there's not too many points. Now there's a bit of a gap, but there's about 9 points separating that now. And obviously from fourth to where Everton are in 10th, there's hardly anything. There's 6 points between 10th place Everton and fourth place West Ham. And sandwiched in between that, Arsenal and United are level. Goal difference separates that. Wolves, Brighton on 16 points, breathing down next. Brighton, Spurs in the wins. And obviously, if you're an Arsenal fan, this is a week where you should be beating Watford, because we need that insurance going into Liverpool after the international break. And obviously, I probably back Conte to beat Everton. Everton have been a bit shaky, but they've done all right this season. And Everton away is not an easy fixture. So if Spurs got Everton away, you've got Watford respectfully, because they're fighting relegation and Ranieri's in there, so there could be an uptake. And you've got the Manchester derby. You've got to learn to take points. You need to know what to strike when the iron's hot and when to exploit. So it's gonna be an interesting one where that's concerned. Chelsea got Burnley. You'd imagine Chelsea walked the floor with Burnley, but Burnley are not duds, really and truly. Sean Dyche like spoiling people's day. Again, I'm sure Thomas Tuchel's not going to ramp. He wants people to annihilate the opposition. And, I wonder what Reece James will do. He seems to be quite a good goal scorer, really and truly, these days. Crystal Palace against Wolves. Now, that's going to be a fairly even game. Crystal Palace had a big result in the last Premier League game against Manchester City, but it means nothing if at home you can't apply yourselves against Wolves. Hopefully Vieira does his thing. Brentford against Norwich, again, two polarizing stories of Premier League promotion sides. Brentford, you can tell, again, things can happen and they're having a bit of a wobble of late, but you can tell what Brentford are on. Norwich appear very naive and seem to be going down, but again, you're going to need to win. So that's a 6-pointer. Brighton against Newcastle, the Graham Potter derby. That could be Eddie Howe's first game, so I'm sure he'd want to win. As I said, you've got Rafa Benitez against Conte. In Everton against Tottenham. Do you know what? Wenger, Jose, Alex Ferguson, you might as well just come to the Prem for no reason. It's becoming, you're looking around the Prem, there's so many sick guys now. You got Ranieri back, you got Rafa back, obviously Conte's back, you've got Pep Guardiola, you got Jurgen Klopp, you got Thomas Tuchel, you got serious guys now, really, and Bielsa's there. I know Leeds aren't doing their thing. Leeds have Leicester City now. I can't not back Leicester to win that, but Leeds need to get back on the winning run. Their results have been a bit shaky. Arsenal, Watford, as we've been discussing, and West Ham versus Liverpool. That's going to be a big game, man. And we're going to be doing a watch along for that. It's going to be tight because Arsenal will finish 2 to 2:45. His first half, 15 minutes. Second half kicks off at 3:45. The game should end around 4:45. I think we should just be about to cut. We should be good to start about, I'd say 4 o'clock. I'd say about 4 o'clock. West Ham Liverpool live stream 4 o'clock. And then what I'm going to do again, the content never stops, people. Obviously, on Sunday, Arsenal, Watford, and then we'll do a West Ham almost straight after West Ham, Liverpool, and then after that, we'll go back and review Arsenal's game, and then obviously we'll do another watch along for that. I mean, live stream for that, and we'll cut up some clips and do what we need to do and whatnot, people. We keep working, man. The grind never stops, really, and we've got to take advantage. You can't, the channel can't die, really. It's going to be international break next week, so what is there to do? Might do an England game, but my thing, I don't really like doing that, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, man, some interesting games where the Premier League's concerned. West Ham, Liverpool away, Arsenal welcome Watford, Leeds United against Leicester City, Everton against Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford, Norwich, Palace, Wolves, Chelsea, Burnley, Manchester Derby, United at home, United against Manchester City, live from 12 p.m. tomorrow, folks. I actually need to create the what you call them thing there again, the streams and whatnot, but definitely going to be doing one for that. So yeah, is what it is where that's concerned, people. Is what it is where the Premier League is concerned. Large up everybody listening. Shout out to the Apple, Spotify, Twitch and YouTube listeners. Appreciate you guys. But that's where the Premier League is concerned, folks. 43-30. That's the Premier League. Away from that, though, I think it's time to get into England as well, people. It's only right we talk about England. The England squad has been announced. Now, on one hand, I do feel sorry for Gareth Southgate because there isn't much. Everything you can do, people are going to be onto you. And I don't think you can always call up people with form. And I do think sometimes when the form, you can't always call up everyone that's doing amazing in terms of form. You can't always turn a man down because their form isn't good. You have to find that balance of giving people chances, replenishing the side, ultimately doing what's the best for the nation. But you need to keep the players you know and trust. And I do think Southgate is overly cautious, and I think he likes people that, not that behaving yourself isn't the right word, because we like people that can behave themselves, but it seems like he calls up a bunch of players. If you say the team meeting's at 8 o'clock, them and they're at 6:45. You get it, and that's not a bad thing necessarily, but it just feels like the minute you got a couple rough edges, my man isn't really on you, and it seems like he's just picking people that have been part of the camp, people that know the camp, know the coaching staff, that are part of the group, and he's going for team cohesion. Which, again, Tyrone Mings, there's been times it's warranted, but I think first things first, without actually bringing up the lineup, I know he's spoken about Greenwood and the parents and things like that. I hear it. If his parents and Greenwood and you have all said it's not the best time or whatever, I hear it. I think it's baloney, respectfully. I think it's baloney. I think the man should be in the squad. I think Greenwood, like Greenwood, Foden, these are guys you need. Saka, throw your hat on in it. I think it's BS. If you're playing for Man United and coping with them pressures, and for me, I don't want to say playing for Man United is harder now than when they were fighting for titles, because it's probably not true. But if he's coping with all the pressures and whatnot, I don't see how you can deny him, whether you're playing him up front, on the right or whatever. Get the man up to speed, because international football's a different ball game. Foden look out of his depth in his Euros. I'm pretty sure next World Cup he's going to do his thing. Bellingham might look out of his depth. Foden, the levels is tough, so give these man the levels now, innit? And again, respectfully, we got to a Euros final. I don't know if we're going to do much in the World Cup, but again, Greenwood's 20, Saka's them ages, so Foden's that ages. So what you do now is moving towards what they look like at 25, 26, and then maybe we can say with our chest, yo, England need to go and win it. So I hear what he might be saying with his parents and whatnot. I don't know the situation, but if I'm seeing him play 9 times out of 10 week in, week out for Man United, I find it difficult to sit here and say, oh, he can't play for England because of this and that. Surely you wouldn't be playing for United then. Like, you don't play for no one, or significantly reduced playing time. Obviously, I do think Tyrone Mings is benefiting from a left-footed tax, and obviously, he's a very good spokesman. On form, he don't deserve it. Bit harsh on Jadon Sancho, but again, you're not playing, and you're not playing well because you're not playing. One of them ones. Lingard, you knew this was going to be a thing if you stayed at Man United. You're not going to get regular football, so a place in the England team just might be a myth. I think Southgate's tried 2 approaches. He's called Sancho up to the first camp just to let him know, listen, you're still part of my plans and all of these sort of things. And then this one, you couldn't select him, sort of thing. But I say you couldn't select him. There's a couple of people that have been selected that, quote unquote, borderlines bewildering. Rashford's back from his shoulder injury, and I'm quite scared for Rashford, because it's like he gets these mad injuries and he comes back straight away and he's instantly playing for United and England call-ups. I do think, I'm no health expert, but I do think Rashford has to be a bit careful. If you haven't seen the England lineup, Ramsdale, Pickford, Sam Johnson. Pickford's probably, I mean, Ramsdale's probably still going to be third choice. Do I see him playing against Albania or San Marino? Potentially not. I hope he can. I'd imagine there's an opportunity there for him. Definitely where San Marino's concerned. I hope that's where Ramsdale plays. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, deservedly so. Ben Chilwell, form's been good. You know, Reece James been playing quite well. Just unfortunate that Trent Alexander-Arnold is also a right back. Kyle Walker, always going to get in. John Stones barely plays for City, but okay, I understand it. Luke Shaw, I understand it. Cody, it is what it is. Potentially, I don't, you know, Tomori hasn't even been that amazing post last international break to now, but I don't understand how he and maybe a couple of others haven't been given a chance. You know, don't know why what Ben White's got to do ahead of Cody and things like that. Maguire, if Maguire wasn't Harry Maguire, quote unquote captain and whatnot, bro, Maguire should not be in that team 100%. He's been toilet. You've got Mason Mount, Henderson, Rice, Ward-Prowse, Bellingham, Calvin Phillips. No real surprises over that. And interesting, Foden's been named as a forward, as has Grealish. So maybe they're going to play off the flanks again. You've got Tammy Abraham, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, and Raheem Sterling. So yeah, that's that where the England squad is now. For an Arsenal perspective, I don't understand forcing it with the Smith Rowe one again. You got to think about who he dislodges at. Maybe you get rid of a Mings and then you bring Smith Rowe as another midfielder. But again, there's a lot of depth there, and he's not getting ahead of, you know, Mount's form's been okay now. Foden, Grealish, they're ahead of him. And you know, Southgate, he took forever to call up Grealish. He didn't really want to call up Bellingham. Sancho's not in the team, but he took forever. So yeah, man, it's not the worst squad, but again, Tyrone Mings, I don't get it, people. And some of the people that have been left out, really and truly, especially when you've got San Marino, there's a potential to experiment, if I'm completely honest. But fair play, you know, we're playing San Marino, the lowest ranked side in world football, and obviously we play Albania. England remain unbeaten on the road to Qatar, people, but drawing 2 of the past 3 matches means we only have 3-point cushion at the top with 2 games to go. Southgate, when speaking to reporters, said it's always difficult to pick a squad because we've got so much competition for places. We've had a few players missing last time, which means you bring others in, then you've got decisions to make. So again, that tells you he doesn't really want to make changes to the squad that got to the European final unless there's injuries or someone plays abnormally amazing. It's a myth. Also, some young players who are playing well who haven't quite made the squad. They have not made the squad. So we've kept a reasonable amount of consistency, really, with the groups that were there with in the summer. They did so well. We're only 5 international games on from that. But there's players pushing that group really strong. And like I just said, without looking at his comments, he's clearly still going with that Euro bias. You look at the 25-man squad, I've said it to you already. I'm trying to scroll down. You know, there's not going to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin and things. Southgate has hit back at comments about his inconsistencies. He said, I don't think I'm inconsistent. Pardon me. Well, I think with Mason, I discussed the situation last time, so we've been through that. With Jesse and Jaden, I mean, they just aren't playing a lot of football compared to the other players in their positions. I know people say I'm inconsistent, if you look at Stones, but I don't think I am. If you're playing regularly for your club, you've got a much better chance of us assessing your level compared to the rest of the group, which is fair enough. Sometimes there will be a lot of depth in one position and there might not be as much depth in another position. And the player that is in that position with less depth might have a better chance with less club time. So again, he's probably telling you he doesn't rate too many of the centre halves. That's probably a bias that goes towards John Stones. With these 2 lads, they've got great competition for positions they play in. Jesse has had 10, 15 minutes. I don't know what his form is, what his fitness is, really, to be able to assess him against the rest of the group. And you knew this was a factor, really. Both of these boys, when I spoke to them, totally understood that. They get that. They know that at the moment they've got to be playing for their club and playing well. Then England is a bonus on top. He did name drop, obviously, you know, a couple of other players. And as we know, if you look at the Premier League in general, you could say Conor Gallagher deserves a chance, Mark Gurhey, Emil Smith-Rowe. You know, I wouldn't quite say Tariq Lamptey or Max Aarons, but I think Livamento's unfortunate in that you no matter how good you play unless at recent, you're looking around at Reece James and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then you know Southgate is bringing in other guys for no reason. I just clocked. I don't think he called up Trippier, did he? Right, he didn't call up Trippier for once. I might be bugging out. Nah, he didn't call up Trippier. I don't know if Trippier picked up a knock against Liverpool, but oh boy, fair play. Scrolling all the way down though. He said, we've got fantastic competition for places there because Kyle Walker was in the team of the tournament for the Euros. Trippier, who hasn't been selected this time, to give a bit of an opportunity to Reece James and Trent. But Kieran has always performed brilliantly for us and has been a huge part of us getting to the World Cup semi-final and the European Championship final. He's a player that we have so much respect for. I'm sure he'll be back with us in the future. Fair play. You know, German internationals are saying Jadon Sancho made a mistake joining Man United. I don't think Jadon Sancho made a mistake joining Man United. I don't think you can begrudge a man at 20 years of age, having, played for City, clearly had dreams to play as a Premier League footballer. One love to his development at Dortmund, but I'd be amazed to find out that he dreamed of playing in Bundesliga. The biggest team in the country comes calling for you, bro. That's like being in a normal. If you're in a normal job and you're working for a reasonable company, and then in whatever industry, a top 3, top 5 global industry in that industry, company in your industry, they come and say they want you to work for them and they want you to be a key member of a high ranking position, which being a number, well, not number 7, but a winger at United will be their 7 one day. You can't begrudge him. I think people need to cut Jadon Sancho some slack. Again, there's things he could do better. There's things you've always got to take accountability for your personal situation. You could do a lot better to convince Ollie. Sometimes I don't think you've taken your chances. I do think the football IQ needs to improve. Some of the things he tries to do that were banging in Germany don't happen now. There's obviously Ollie got a social tax. There's all these things. You can't write a man off at 21 years of age after less than 6 months. He will get through it, but sometimes you need this in life. Everything's been wavy. He's left City, become England international, taking South London to the world, then back. It's all wavy, Sometimes you need that friction. And I think when you remove away from the excitement, in reality, first things first, people underestimate how difficult the Premier League is. He's basically a foreign player, He has to deal with the intensity, the end-to-endness, and all these things. It's probably, Man United is a disjointed team and nothing is going right for them. So he has to deal with that. He has to deal with the level of scrutiny from probably a young age. Everything this guy does is spoken about. But I wouldn't say that. Obviously, when you look at the fact that the only way I could entertain that him joining Man United is a mistake is if it's a thing where I always say, you don't, when it comes to the years of the Euros and the years of the World Cup, sometimes it's a big risk to move. You look at people like maybe Ramsdale enhanced his reputation where England's concerned. Sometimes you look at Jadon where there's spots and whatnot. Maybe it might have been best, like with the Euros last year. Let me stay in my club situation right now. Let me do my thing and then move on. That's why a lot of people don't want to move, because if you find yourself in situations like this, then you might not be called up. But I wouldn't say he's made a mistake, man. Really and truly. And at the end of the day, there is a lot of depth, but it is what it is. But this guy said, you see the players who are playing in Man United, you have Rashford, you have Ronaldo. This means you have 2 from 3. Then you have another 4 players who can play in the 3rd position. One of these 3 or 4 players is Sancho. I don't know how he is training at Man United. He has to work hard to make this first step in the first 11. Now he's far away from the first 11. He went on to say, when I see how many minutes he was playing this season or which games he was playing, then I think it was a mistake. Maybe he has more money but less games. I mean, very harsh, but fair enough, fair enough. I mean, it is what it is where that's concerned. That's the England, that's the two pence I have in England. What are you lot saying, people? 3 points is 3 points. Smith Rowe's been in better form than Grealish. He has, but we got to be fair, man. Grealish a better player than him. He knows what he can do. There's a lot of form. A lot of those players shouldn't be in that team for form. Probably Luke Shaw, Maguire, slyly, maybe even not to them man's level. Maybe even Bukayo Saka, Tammy Abraham, Harry Kane. Bare of them shouldn't be in that team. But you have to find the balance. It's not always a form thing, if I'm honest. Kane's done nothing of merit, but come on, man 30. Milan Derby Sunday, bloody hell. The way I saw AC Milan play, they're gonna get smacked up if they mess about. We need 3 points against Watford, nothing less. Liverpool away off the international break is gonna be ugly. Ugly, bro. Ugly. He'd be challenging for Bundesliga with Dortmund, maybe, man. But you'd imagine in this at 21 years of age, you win something at United, be challenging for something at United. And man's probably got a bit homesick as well. Like, man's doing up the German thing. I need to come home now. One of them ones. Away from that, though, let me delete that because we spoke about that. Eddie Howe, people. Eddie Howe business. Now, I'm sure you've all seen Eddie Howe has he seems to be one step away from becoming the next gaffer of Newcastle now. Personally, I don't know if I would if I want to be someone's seconds personally. For what it's worth, Eddie Howe agrees deal in principle to become Newcastle manager. He held additional talks with Newcastle this week after Unai Emery ruled himself out, and he's agreed a 2.5-year deal. Now, first things first, again, you have to remove your ego. Newcastle's a fantastic club to join and a fantastic project. But the first thing I would say is, what is the level of scrutiny going to be like? Because, you know, Eddie Howe's a good manager, but the first thing was Emery, innit? Man wanted Emery and all these other guys. You know, it came down to you at Emery. It was Emery's. They were prepared to pay the £6 or so million. They said no. He said no. Now they've got you. So now, first things first, if I'm Eddie, you know, they're going to praise you when you do well, but when things go wrong, that's why they wanted Uno. That's why he weren't cut out for this. That's why this. That's why that. Now, for me, Newcastle, I feel sorry for Eddie if it goes wrong, because I don't know if all the things off the field at Newcastle are in place, and it needs to be manager's not going to come in and be a wonder hero. That's why Emery ruled himself out. The structures need to be in place, and you're fighting relegation. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do, if Eddie Howe's going to be able to overcome that. So again, the level of scrutiny. Obviously, he's been out of work for a while. He's spoke with Celtic, so he clearly thinks this is the job. And then again, if it works, you know, I'm not being funny. I mean, Eddie Howe, you could have something good there in a couple of years, challenge for things. But I think they will look at Eddie as the guy to introduce some stability, and then might be a bit more brave. As you know, he got Bournemouth through the leagues. He's been in that. He has kept Bournemouth in the league prior, but he's also been relegated and sacked and them things there. So I don't know if there's assurances. When I look at Unai Emery, you were seeing some reports come out that, you know, he weren't really down for, you know, the clauses that say you can sack man if I get relegated. So maybe Eddie Howe, that's something that doesn't affect him. Really and truly. He's agreed in principle a 2.5-year contract, people. The finer details of his plans for the club were being discussed, as well as the makeup of his backroom staff. He's held additional talks. Apparently, Newcastle owners were impressed with the way Howe presented his views on the club and his level of detail and research. Attention will now turn to sorting agreements with his backroom staff, people. At this stage, it is unlikely he'll be in the dugout for Saturday's match at Brighton, but there is an appetite for both sides to complete the appointment in time for this weekend's game, people. He's been out of work since 2020. Obviously, Bournemouth got relegated, so I don't know if he's going to be the guy. When you look at his record in the Premier League, 190 games, 56 wins, 43 draws, and 91 losses, conceded 330 goals, scored 241, win percentage of 29.47. His best place finishes 9th, which I'm sure Newcastle are hoping for. His worst place finishes 18th. Now, is he going to be able to take over mid-season and change things? He defo believes he can. So we're going to have to see what's going on there, really and truly. And as you know, he's been in talks with Celtic prior to obviously doing his thing here. So we'll have to see out what Eddie Howe does and things like that, people. We'll have to see. Could be an interesting one. I just want to go back to Mason Greenwood, people. Southgate explained why Mason Greenwood hasn't been involved, and he said his family, he revealed he reached an agreement with the forward and his family not to call him up until next year. Cool, keep doing what you're doing. He's got 4 goals in 13 this season, but he's doing what he's doing, people. He said, I think we had a discussion before the camp in September, and we came to an agreement. John McDermott, the technical director of the FA, and myself went to Man United and had a good chat with Mason and his family, and we agreed we'd park this until next year. Basically, we'd leave the autumn games. Of course, you always run the risk that other players are going to come through, but he's young enough that there is time here. It's not that he doesn't want to be with us. We totally understand the situation, myself and John in particular, and Steve Holland, through time coaching with lots of young players. We understand this journey they're going on. I mean, just feels like after he done it seems like there's something we don't necessarily know. On Callum Hudson-Odoi, he said, I cannot talk much about Callum because we would like him to be with the 21s. He feels he would be best served staking a case for the team with Chelsea. I think he has a better chance of impressing us if he's with the 21s, frankly. I hear that, and it makes sense, and there might be a bit of bad blood, but the priority is Chelsea, really and truly. And I hear where he's coming from. It's like Callum don't want to be in the team if you're not going to call me up to the first team, and you have to deserve it. But again, if he's playing to the level he has potential to, then you will call him up, regardless of what you say. I understand it. I understand Southgate's side saying not playing for the under 21s because I think it's bloody cheeky, but fair play. I understand Callum's, and I agree more with Callum's. Southgate speaks on Greenwood England sides. Okay, so that's that. 102. Let's call it that. We're moving with the timestamps, people. I'm not gonna go over it, but apparently Zaha is considering retiring from international football, people. I don't know why, but apparently he is. Dean Smith has an interview, people, explaining the poor form that Aston Villa find themselves in and why he potentially, quote unquote, needs more time, people. Which again, I'll leave that. I'm not going to read that out because I think his days are numbered. Again, I don't really want to go over it, but it's unfortunate. But as you lot know, West Ham footage emerged of West Ham supporters allegedly anti-Semitic chants at a Jewish man on the plane. Obviously, it's unsavourable scenes and things like that. And West Ham have obviously appealed. They vowed to get to the bottom of it, and obviously bad things are going to happen if you was being silly, innit? Bans and the rest of it and all the dumb things there, people. In fact, Zaha's things up here right now. We might as well go through it. He's asked not to come because he comes homesick after each meeting. He wants to reflect on the rest of his international career. I want soldiers, warriors who, even with one knee on the ground, will come to selection. It's a message that I send loud and clear to each player. And that's in relation to Zaha. Now, I don't know why Zaha, the 28-year-old, has not been called up to the qualifiers for Ivory Coast, or why not? If a World Cup comes around, all of a sudden he'll want to play. But I get it, I get it. He's got a young family now. I understand if he's missing his family, the 28-year-old and whatnot. He's got a couple kids and things, and football puts things into perspective. He's come through, been where he's just living for himself. Football is just football, and it's just him. And now he's got a family to think about. So I get it, but I also get the Ivory Coast manager as well. You want players that are committed and the rest of it. So it makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, man. Howe's not a bad appointment. The key is to stay in the league. That's it. He needs to stay in the league. And then anything else, you buy your time to September. I think if you don't stay in the league, I think you get sacked. But at the same time, he might be, if they go down, he might be the guy to keep, man. If I'm completely honest with you. To round this up, people, as you know, I like to look at the transfer business and transfer dealings that are allegedly happening where football's concerned. Transfer rumors. Respect to Zaha, 100%, Josh. You're right on that. One love to everyone. Make sure you're following, subscribing, all of those good things on Twitch, YouTube, and the rest of it. One love. Make sure you're following on Spotify and Apple Music as well, man. Listen, MP3, MP4, content king, man. Content king. Make sure you're hitting the like button of my latest video as well, because these bots are attacking, man, on a vicious thing. But we move, people, regardless. Let's get into the let's look at some of the transfer news if I can find it. Start with the BBC's column. Apparently, Jose Mourinho has identified Ruben Loftus-Cheek of Chelsea and Harry Winks as targets for Roma, which I think you're more likely to get Harry Winks than you are Thomas Tuchel's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Isaac has said he's very happy at the Spanish club Real Sociedad, but one day it would be nice to play in the Premier League. So again, we can hold on that and focus on that a bit more at 11:30. Because for me, that says you ain't signing for Arsenal. I do think, man, gas him up a lot, myself included, but it is what it is. So yeah, sorry people, I'm being a bit selfish and just looking after the 11:30 live stream and copy and pasting some of the articles, people. But yeah, back to this. So Isaac's been talking up chances. Liverpool are confident of beating a number of clubs to the signing of England youth international Fabio Carvalho. As you know, the Fulham 19-year-old who has been getting a look in the first team. Him and a couple other Fulham players have said they're not signing a new deal. Weston McKennie's of interest from Tottenham, and apparently Juventus are open to letting him go. Manchester United do not have plans to offer Cristiano Ronaldo a coaching role at the club. Following reports, he was keen to take up a role when he retires. He strikes me as a manager, really and truly. Messi said he wants to do the backroom thing. As you know, Newcastle want to sign Matteo Guendouzi allegedly, which we're gonna hone on the 11:30 live stream, people. So we'll park that one off again. But yeah, that could be a good look. And I mean, is their blueprint just to go for Arsenal pre-Arteta? Get Emre in. They were linked with Saliba. They linked with Guendouzi. It is what it is, people. It's crazy. Obviously, Tomiyasu spoke on how he almost joined Tottenham. Apparently, Atletico Madrid plan to offer Marcelo Brozovic a contract when his deal with Inter runs out, and he's been linked with Newcastle and Manchester United. Apparently Barnsley, Derby County, Millwall, and Luton are interested in 20-year-old English winger Jack Clark, former Leeds boy, now at Spurs. That's it's not the most exciting from the BBC's news column people. Apparently Messi has had his worst start in 15 years, and it ain't quite working out for him at PSG. Well, allegedly, anyways, people, as you know, Eddie Howe's agreed to become Newcastle boss. Chelsea are keeping tabs on Kingsley Coman, as his contract situation obviously is going to get techier and techier where Bayern Munich are concerned. What else is going on? Apparently, Newcastle want to spend 47 million on Mark ter Stegen, moving mad. Apparently, PSG want to sign Toni Kroos. Pardon me, Manchester United are stepping up their interest in Tuchemani. Moving mad. Absolutely mad. Barcelona are prioritizing a move for Dani Olmo in January, and if that can't happen, we'll turn their attentions back again to Raheem Sterling. Apparently, Chelsea are eyeing a potential move for Fenerbahce defender Attila Szalai. 23-year-old is under contract until 2025, and Chelsea could launch a 23 million euros bid for him. What else is going on? Wolves are trying to go for Renato Sanchez. Fair play. Quite, not too much. As I said, Chelsea are keeping tabs allegedly on Kingsley Coman, folks. So make of that what you will. Again, Trevor Chalobah signed a contract extension until 2026 at Chelsea. Well deserved. Everton's Anthony Gordon's been handed his first England, his first England under-21 call up. I mean, that's interesting from Arteta on Smith Rowe, which we'll talk about at 11:30. I'm just getting free content here, people. Make sure you're here at 11:30. Let's see what is England's under-21 side, anyways, people. Fleetwood defender James Hill's been included. Fair play. What is the England side? Well, obviously Smith Rowe's there. Gibbs White is there. What is the England squad? Etienne Green, or Saint Etienne, he's someone I wanted Arsenal to make a move for, probably as our second choice. Livermento's in the under-21s. Charlie Cresswell of Leeds is in the under-21s. Good team. Luke Thomas of Leicester as well, the left back. Tommy Doyle. Where's Palmer? Bit of a, Tommy Doyle's in the under-21s. Where's Palmer's not there? Man City's Cole Palmer's not there. What's going on there? Balogun's there. Oh, Cole Palmer is there. Smith Rowe's there. Balogun's there. Obviously, sadly, Tyrese John Jules has been dropped. That's probably because of the form at Blackpool at this moment in time, rightly or wrongly, people. Moving away from that, we said transfer news, man. Show me some transfer news, Sky Sports. You're going to show me the same thing. Apparently, Alex Ferguson stopped Ronaldo joining Man City in a 20-second phone call. Madness. It's just, Sky Sports one is just being dominated by Eddie Howe. When I look at it, Zach Stefan of Manchester City signed a new deal until 2025. Barcelona being linked with Aubameyang. Now we know Barca are broke. I can't see how these things are happening, people. That's where the transfer news is concerned. Someone says Xavi to Barcelona confirmed. Let me see. Xavi Hernandez. What, as in on the official website? Well, to be fair, More, you're right, man. It might as well be an official announcement. Official statement for Al Sadd. The Al Sadd administration has agreed on Xavi's move to Barcelona after the payment of the release clause stipulated in his contract. We've agreed upon cooperation with Barcelona in the future. So again, apparently Xavi's release clause was 5 million euros. So that's where Xavi's gone, people. Barcelona have confirmed. Well, Fabrizio Romano's confirmed it. Let me go on Barcelona's. I'm sure Barcelona must have their own little announcement thing to come across with this, to correlate with this. It's about time Barca had a new manager. I mean, we've spoken on Gavi, Fati, Jordi Alba, Busquets, all getting called up to the Spanish team. We're going for Pedri. I mean, Barcelona are in training at this moment in time, which obviously Xavi's not going to be involved in. But yeah, Xavi's Looks like Xavi's confirmed as the Barcelona manager based on El Sad. So you can probably expect, subsequent announcements from Barcelona side in the near future, really and truly, and sooner rather than later, where that's concerned. Xavi confirmed. Chelsea in for Koeman. Very interesting ones, ain't they? The Pedri Ute rest. Better late than never. What's up, DG in the nation? Come on, my guy. Better late than never. Always, man. It is what it is. I appreciate everybody's support. Xavi should raid Ajax, probably. Smith Rowe must be there. Smith Rowe's there. Callum Hudson-Odoi there. Well, he's not there because he said no, in fact, but he was good. He was originally meant to be there. So it is where Callum's concerned. That he's saying, fuck that. Got things to do out here. Rather show Thomas Tuchel up on things. And to be fair, I understand it, man. I remember a couple years ago, Dyer said no to England. I'm trying to do something at Spurs. Chevron Williams, love the content. Sorry, folks. I just see a comment come up on YouTube. Thanks, man. Means a lot. There's some nice people out there, man. There's some horrible people on the net. But every now and again, well, most of the time, you get some positive messages, man. Guy, this is the reason I keep going, man. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I got hella content to come out on YouTube today, people. One love to everyone that was here on Twitch that saw I lost my trail of thought now. The show with Graham, but got a couple bits and pieces there, man. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm gonna get out of here, people. There's nothing more to speak about. We've spoken or reacted to Conte's first game / European action with the help of my mate. Spoke about the Premier League, spoke about England selection, Newcastle, and their new manager, potentially Eddie Howe. We covered Xavi. It's been a fantastic podcast and a fantastic way of kicking off Friday, but the grind doesn't stop, people. 11:30, I'm over on YouTube. 4 p.m, we're back here on Twitch. There'll be a couple of, I'll schedule them as live streams, but a couple other bits and pieces coming on from me from YouTube as well. On that topic as well, people, you've got the Manchester Derby on YouTube live from about 12 p.m. tomorrow. And then obviously, Sunday, West Ham, Liverpool, we will do a watch along for that. Arsenal, Watford, without a doubt, and we'll have a reaction live stream as well. So the grind don't stop, people. And next week we'll see what we can do. But I appreciate everyone who's been locked in. It's Friday, so as I always say, I hope you've all had a good week. And on the biggest of that, I hope you've all in good health and your loved ones are. But for now, people, I'm going to love and leave you lot. I'm going to go get ready for the next live stream. Let's all crush the day. Happy Friday and them things. People, I'm out.
There's always that active red light, defending.
I think it's like